Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited, we are on the record.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarina Fazan, a journalist, producer, and the host of On the Record. On today's show, one of my favorites, A Mother's Influence. And boy, do we have a special mom to introduce you to today. She's joining us from New Orleans, Lory Fournette. Hi, Lory.
Hello.
Of course, I'm stumbling all over the place because I'm so excited to have you on the show. I worked in New Orleans before, and your family, I was so flattered, remembered me. And we were at, where were we, Lory? Where we reconnected?
We were at the playoff game, the Bucks last game, the last playoff.
What a game.
2 Sundays ago.
2 Sundays ago. What a game it was against Los Angeles. I mean,
yes.
Devastating loss. Well, if Fournette sounds familiar, Lory would be the proud mother of number 7 star running back Leonard Fournette. But you know what? If you ask Leonard, he would say he's the proud son of you, Lory.
Yes.
It's so sweet. So, okay, let's start. Let me ask you this. You and I, it was so fun. And again, I was so honored to watch the game with your family. Clearly, it went down to the wire. How were you feeling during that game?
I was feeling excited. I just felt like I kept saying, 4 minutes is a long time. And you witnessed that. I say anything can happen in 4 minutes. And when 4 minutes, then it start down to the wire and the numbers start changing. And I mean, we were screaming and yelling and oh my God, it was so much excitement.
It was so much fun. I mean, that was the one picture that we were hugging each other because you said to me, you said, this is what Tom Brady does, and this is what my son can do, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I know it was, I have to say, honestly, truly, I love professional football, but it was, especially, all these times we're going through, truly one of the happiest days of my life. Honestly, that was such a great game and fun to be around your family.
It really was.
But
Thank you so much.
Oh gosh, of course. I mean, it was so special for me. But I have to say how strong you are, because a lot of people did not know that you arrived at that game with your family. Your son was playing in the game, and your family had suffered a tragic loss.
That is correct. His cousin was killed that Friday before, Leonard Fournette Jr. So he was gunned down and killed. And that is my brother-in-law's son, which makes it my son's first cousin, and they grew up together.
We are so sorry. I know that Leonard and his cousin were the same age.
Yes, 27.
Have they caught the perpetrator at this point?
Oh, no, not yet. Not at this point.
Well, we certainly hope for that, to give your family some type of closure and justice in the case.
Thank you.
With such a tragedy, Lory, how did Leonard and yourself, how did you put your mind into that game mindset?
Well, I knew that Leonard was always proud of Leonard. He would always come talk to me. He would call me. He actually did the lawn care for my mother that's deceased home. He would always talk to me all the time. And he was just so proud of where Leonard had came from to where he's at today. And he was just always a jolly person. I've never, ever really saw him like angry or upset. And I think those precious memories allowed me to continually have good memories and put my mindset in a different mindset.
Right. And, sometimes, I'm not a professional player, but with my profession too, sometimes when something horrible or sad happens, sometimes it just fuels you to do the very best that you can, especially for that person that you may have lost. Would you say that maybe Leonard was feeling that way? on the field? Because
I would say that. I would say his performance allowed the tragic that happened, allowed him to perform exceedingly and above. And I think that would really push him to want to go out there and do more.
and he certainly, I mean, he was amazing, as he always is. He was on top of his game, for sure.
Thank you.
You know, we also, it was also wonderful to meet his wife, Jamie, who he met in high school, and their two little ones. It was so fun because we have some pictures that we're showing. So the viewers might say, well, who's this person? Who is that person? So I wanted to make sure to point out who they were. And what a beautiful young girl she is. And they've known each other for a while.
Yes, she is.
So,
Yeah.
so share that. So the two of them met in high school,
Yes,
and they've been together ever since.
that is correct.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's adorable. So with you, Lory, tell us, how many children do you have, and where does Leonard fall?
Leonard is my third to last child. I have Latae, Lanada, Leonard, then Leonard. Leonard is
Oh,
sitting next to him. That's my baby.
oh, and
And
they're
then
all
it's
L's.
Leonard. And then, yes, and the girls are the oldest.
Oh, that's okay. So, did any of the other kids get into sports
Lanada ran track. Leonard played football also
for the pros or for college?
for college, high school. Yeah, he played up until college.
So, Leonard, though, always a superstar. I mean, he was like the #1 draft pick, right, out of LSU, and it was also
Yes,
Sports Illustrated. No, it was USA Today, wasn't it? USA Today named him the #1 player or the #1 recruit.
yes,
So,
yes, the #1 recruit.
wow. Okay, so when did you and your husband know that he was special? Did you think? Did you have a feeling he would end up in the pros?
I never really thought about it, that he would actually end up in the pros. I just knew that he had a unique gift. And when he played one of the games when he was in high school at St. Augustine High School, it was like 2 quarters. He had like 300 and something yards,
Wow.
like 5, 6 touchdowns. I said, oh my goodness, this is real different. So at that point, I knew.
In high school, at St.
Yes,
Augustine High School in New Orleans.
that is correct. Correct.
So, and you guys, I mean, he has come out and said this as well, that you lived in a neighborhood that was kind of a troubled area, right? Um, so,
Correct.
so sports probably became even more important than ever, I would imagine.
It was. It was an outlet,
Hmm.
because you would have to actually be straight after school, straight to sports, straight from sports, you go home, you know, do your homework, eat, do your homework, get ready for school. And it's the same thing every day. So it was repeated. So it
Hmm.
wasn't like time for anything. Then on weekends you had games, then on Sunday you're training, you're exercising, you know, doing different things that dad had them do, running up and down the stairs at parks and, you know, I mean, it was just always we have been a sports family for a long time.
And gosh, and that, what a great family to be, right? I mean, sports is wonderful, whether you are in the pros or you're not in the pros. It's great for your mind and your body, I think,
It
you
is.
know?
It is.
So, Lory, take us back, though, to that high school game. And you were like, wow, okay, he's special. Is that when the recruits started coming in?
I'm not sure if it was that particular game, but at that particular time when he actually played, I knew right then and there that he was special because I mean, they took him out. I think maybe it was the first quarter or the second, and he didn't play anymore, and he was kind of upset because he's used to playing. But I mean, I mean, he maybe would have had 600 yards if they would have kept him in.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And so at that point, though, then, he's playing really well in high school. That's when, because, what is it? It's less than 1% or 0.5% people that ever get into the pros. I remember I said on air once it was less than 2%, and they said, no, it's less than 0.5%,
Wow.
of getting into the pros. When he started getting recruited for colleges, were there, and I know he ended up going, of course, to LSU, where he was such a superstar there as well, as we talked about. Were there other colleges that he was interested in or he may have gone to?
I'm not sure if he was actually interested in different colleges. I know he had a lot of offers, but in spite of that, he was mainly focused on completing high school. And my husband, and I usually handled that part.
And what was that like for you, though? Like, what was that like? Was it stressful? Was it exciting? Can you share with
It was
us?
exciting. It was very exciting. I still have the offers he had from all the different colleges, universities. I mean, I have boxes and boxes and boxes. I kept those.
Oh,
And
just
it was very exciting. I mean, we would have so many papers and envelopes and, oh my goodness, cards. And it was just, it was overwhelming because, once we would get home, we'd have stacks and stacks of mail like every day.
You know what? It is just like the movies then. I mean, it really is. Like when you're heavily recruited, they're sending things to the family. They're, trying to
Yes.
get that player. And it sounds like that's what you're
Right.
describing. So
Yes.
how did you guys decide then on LSU? Or how does that work?
Well, Leonard actually made the decision because at the end of the day, Leonard has to go to class. He has to perform. He has to go to the school. So we was not in that part. After we did our different visits, he said LSU felt like home. And that's when he decided that's where he wanted to go.
Oh, and what did he study as his educational background? What did he decide to study?
Uh, Kinesiology and something else. I can't
Gosh,
remember.
that's impressive. But
Yeah.
it's all about, like, because with football too, you have to, my father actually was a professional soccer player and was going to go into the Olympics. And he didn't live here. This was overseas in England. But he was injured before he got into the Olympics, And so
Uh-huh.
there's always that huge fear, right, of injury and for you to be able to have a career. Like my dad's an accountant, and so he would always say to us that you always have to have, not that I would, believe me, I mean, I'm so klutzy. I can't even, to watch me throw a ball, I can't even, oh gosh, but I just like to watch. But, to have, right, but to have something to fall back on,
Correct.
Do you feel Leonard was always focused on that?
Yes, he was. He always had, he always wanted to have something to fall back on.
Did he also have a feeling though that he was going into the pros?
I don't, we never really discussed that. Like, that wasn't like a topic. He just played as he played at the moment. And, once it came up as an offer, then we decided, he decided from then that he was ready to, make his announcement.
So exciting. Well, there's so much more to talk about because I want to talk about a life-changing event that he has shared and then and talked about you. But we're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation, Lory.
Fine.
I'm Sarina Fazan, a journalist, producer, and podcast host.
With a background in television news, I know how much time and talent it takes to produce a broadcast quality production. But no more. Red House Streaming offers a simple, cost-effective method for capturing live action and streaming it in real time to YouTube, Facebook, or any other website. From single camera shoots or multi-camera productions, conventional or virtual sets, and from the state-of-the-art Red House Streaming Studios to remote locations, the professional crew at Red House Streaming, backed by the technology and reputation of CP Communications, allows you to produce more content at a lower cost and with little to no engineering required. That's why my podcast, On the Record with Sarina Fazan, is streamed live from the Red House Streaming Studios each week. Contact Red House Streaming today at 800-762-4254 or online at cpcoms.com to learn more. I'll see you in the studio.
At Precision, our mission is more than fixing broken garage doors.
I think it looks great.
And selling new ones.
It looks amazing.
We aim to help those in need and to honor and lift up those who are making a difference.
Thank you so much.
Through our outreach program called Opening Doors in Our Community. People like Steve Chamberlain, who is fitting kids with prosthetic legs.
The people I've met, the families, we've changed so many lives.
Or members of the military.
I'm the airman.
Oh boy, and I'm the Army.
Like Frank Elliott.
We're teamwork, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That's why we're here for you today.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
And of course, the people on the front lines during COVID, like Jessica, an ER nurse. At Precision, we want to thank everyday heroes for all you do. It was an honor to help you, and together, we are opening doors in our community.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back on The Record. We're talking about a mother's influence on this show, and we're joined by Lory Fournette, the mother of Tampa Bay Buccaneers superstar running back Leonard Fournette. Hi, Lory.
Hello.
She's joining us from New Orleans, but we had an opportunity to watch the game together here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. We showed some of the pictures before. And actually, I worked in New Orleans, so it was fun to be with your family, and I couldn't believe that you guys still remembered me from my WWL days in New Orleans from like 18 years ago. Talk about being flattered.
Yes.
I was so flattered. So, Lory, let's talk some football now, too.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm going to say that for towards the end of the show. I want to talk about something else first.
Okay.
Leonard has said that Hurricane Katrina really affected the way he saw things and him personally. He has also said that what has got him through that time was his mother, you, and your strong Catholic faith. The bond between, can you share more of that story and what was happening during that time?
During that time, it was really devastating because he was really, I think Leonard was maybe 9, 10, I think at that time. It was very devastating for really all of them. It was an adjustment because we slept on the bridge.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
For how long?
For four nights and 5 days.
Oh my gosh.
We actually slept on the bridge. So even though the entire family was together, it was still horrifying. Just what you had to go through, what you had to see. The water kept rising. It was really devastating.
Did you guys have to move to Houston for a period of time, or did you stay in New Orleans?
We actually we went to Texas. We went to Taft, Texas. We went to Corpus Christi, and we went to Taft, and then we went to Portland, Texas, where we stayed for a year, almost a year.
It is life-changing. I mean, that devastation, I know was awful. I didn't work in New Orleans at that time, but I'm really very familiar with the city, but I've covered many hurricanes, and to see what Mother Nature can do is just...
Correct.
It's Mother Nature's wrath, But do you feel that helped? He said that, again, that your Catholic faith and, you know, just you being there for him just ultimately made him a stronger person, that experience?
Well, at that time, we're non-denomination.
Mm-hmm.
But he did grow up in Catholic schools.
So you're
But
non-denomination,
my
but he grew up
faith
in Catholic schools.
Correct. And I did too. And I believe my faith in God is what kept us molded and shaped, to allow us to come out of what we was in that was so devastating. My belief in God, and, you know, reassuring them that, you know, that God is still in control no matter how the situation is. Just remember, you know, once you finish the finish line, once you went through all you had to go through, once you come to that finish line, you know, you will be okay. Sometimes you just have to go through things in life.
And just like what we talked
And that
about,
was one of the things we had to go through.
and just like what we talked about at the very beginning of the show, the loss of your nephew, Leonard's cousin.
Yes.
Just going through that, you
Yes.
know, just a
Yes.
couple of days shy of the game.
That is correct.
So you would say faith, for you, faith is really an essential part of your life.
I know, and I think really without God, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for God, His very existence in my life.
And that's wonderful to hear, you know, to have that strong faith. When we talk about faith in football and talk about some of the fun things about football, what is Leonard doing right now? I know it was a devastating loss, but so for him, the season's not fully over though, right?
I think so it is.
Or is he going to the Pro Bowl? Do we know, or we don't know
No,
yet?
he's not going to the Pro Bowl.
He's not going to the Pro Bowl this year. So the season's
Correct.
done. Does he come back to New Orleans, or is Tampa home for him now?
I'm not sure yet. Well, currently he's still in Tampa, but I'm not sure exactly, you know, what he's going to do.
And even though the football season is over, would you say though he's still continuing like his training?
He is. He's still continuing the way he eats, the way he trains, you know. Maybe not at the full capacity he would if he was actually playing, but he is still exercising.
Because you've always got to be on that mindset for sure.
Yes, yes.
So Lory, what does he think of Tom Brady?
Oh, he calls Tom Brady the baby.
Really?
Oh, that's just something, the nickname, or you call him Tommy. I mean, that's just, he loves Tom Brady. He's a very influential guy. I've met him. He's a very nice person. He's very, very nice.
Oh, go ahead, Lory, I'm sorry.
I love his disposition. I like, you know, he's just down to earth. I've spoken to him. I've met him several times, and he's always the same.
That's what a lot of people say about him, that he truly is a class act. I have not had the chance to meet him yet, but of course, I'm putting it out in the universe that I hope to. I hope to have Tom and Giselle on my Love in America show, and Leonard and Jamie. That I asked Jamie if she'd come on my Love in America too. So how many more years does Leonard want to play? Does he know yet?
No.
And I know it always depends. You know, it depends on what can happen. We pray for help.
He hasn't said anything yet, but as of now, he'll be playing the next upcoming season.
Did he have a favorite player growing up?
He really didn't. He really didn't.
He didn't?
No.
What about a favorite team? Did he love the Saints?
We used to watch the 49ers. We did.
Oh, you did? So will you be cheering for the 49ers coming up? Of course.
Of course. Yeah. As long as they're not playing the Bucs, we're cheering for them.
And as a family, do you have plans for the Super Bowl? I mean, do you hope to watch it with Leonard, or have you guys made any plans yet?
Currently, we haven't made any decision yet on what are we going to do, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see.
Well, it's been so fun. So, Lory, as we wrap up the show, is there something that you would like to tell us about your son that many of us, that we do not know?
I think one of the things I can let you all know that, Leonard had a stuttering problem real bad. And he would always say, Mom, I'm going to be an NFL player. And I would actually make him stand in front of a mirror and pretend he's speaking to an audience. And I would make him articulate his words. We did that for weeks and months until, I don't know, it just kicked in that, he had to take his time. So he had a stuttering problem. And I explained to him, if you're going to speak before millions, you have to articulate your words and know how to speak.
Wow, you have no idea how much this hits home personally, because I had a huge stuttering problem too. 8 years, eight years of serious therapy. Isn't that something? I'm so glad I asked you that question.
Yes.
Well, you wouldn't be able to tell now, and it was, again, a mother's influence, having him stand in front of a mirror. And that's so cute when he said, Mama, when I'm in the NFL, how am I going to speak to all these people? Well, he certainly is doing it now, and he's so inspiring. He's such an inspiring person, such an inspiring player. And honestly, it shows a mother's influence and the wonderful love that he had coming from you.
Thank you so much.
We so appreciate you, Lory Fournette, joining us on The Record. We hope you stay safe out there, and I hope I get a chance to see you again soon. Hopefully, you and Leonard can actually come here to the studio and be on a show.
Hopefully, we can.
Absolutely. Take care, Lory. And for those out there, if you have a story or anything you'd like to suggest, please email us at info@sarinafazan.tv. You can watch me on multiple platforms, and it's very exciting. You can also watch on Roku now, with many more exciting updates coming up. In the meantime, stay safe and have a great week.